Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to GameSpot. I'm Mike Mahardy, your host. I'm here playing Prey, which releases Friday with lead systems designer Seth Shain.
That's me.
Getting tripped up already. And lead level designer Rich Wilson.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Arkane in Austin.
That's right, yeah.
You guys are probably pretty excited. Game's about to come out.
Super excited.
Yes.
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
We're gonna play a couple missions here, right? Or like a couple stretches of the game.
Yeah.
That have people seen these yet or no?
Yeah, we've shown some of this stuff off before, but it always goes a little differently.
Cool.
So it's always worth reviewing.
Awesome. It's one of the alluring aspects of this game, right? Immersive sim, kind of emergent gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This thing's pretty dangerous, and I can ignore it, or I can deal with it. There's several ways you can deal with this. Like you can just kind of glue it, which will kind of make the hazard, kind of protect you from the hazard. And I can repair it permanently. Otherwise, this glue is going to break in a little while, so I'm just going to keep moving.
Okay. Would that have like shocked you if you tried walking through?
Yeah, eventually this is the glue is going to break on this, and it's going to start being a hazard again, and it's really dangerous.
Okay.
So we're in the Psychotronics Lab. It's basically where they've been researching the aliens, developing technology and things based on the aliens' sort of DNA or their makeup.
Okay.
And where things kind of went wrong.
Cool. And yeah, as like a level designer, Rich, the thing I want to ask you is, I know obviously Arkane's other property, Dishonored, is more discrete levels that you can jump into and then finish, and then before you do the next one. This is one big open mission. How does that factor into like your thoughts on level design in this game when you're approaching it?
So it's a completely different animal from doing discrete levels. It's much more intense on the testing side as well, because you can come back to any level with any powers at any point in the game.
Okay.
And you can also visit a lot of things, before you're technically supposed to, before like the main story beats happen in that level.
Okay.
So we have to make sure that the player knows that they're in an area that they're not technically supposed to be in, or they're kind of going off the beaten path, and we're okay with that, but we just want, the player needs to know, like, okay, you're kind of in an extra space and things like that. So we can do things that are more challenging. So if they wander into an area, there might be an alien there that's just way, that outclasses them basically.
Okay.
But they know that they're not on the main path, and they're okay to explore and things like that.
Are you using a touchpad with Nerf darts right now?
Well, they're not Nerf darts.
Sorry, not Nerf darts.
But yeah, they are foam darts. Flexi foam.
I saw from the demo people using it to shoot like door switches. I didn't know you could actually be shooting like I'm using a lot of branding right now. Didn't know you'd be shooting touchpads.
Yeah, we have emails in the game that talk about how they added capacitive tips so they could screw with other employees and mess with their workstations.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is the security room, and there's some enticing pickups in here that I wanted to get.
And that was just one way to get in. Like the player could have mimicked a small object and gone through the glass, or they could have found the actual code to the room later on and come back. And it's an optional space as well. So.
That's awesome. And yeah, so will the crossbow start having more lethal ammunition later on? Are you talking about that?
If you're creative, you can use it with destructive effect. Like we have these things in the game that like look kind of like grenades. Like people kind of refer to them as grenades because it's shorthand for what they are. We call them charges because it doesn't really make sense to have a grenade on a space station.
Right.
But these can be thrown. Or they can be placed, which is kind of something that most grenades can't do. So you can place them like a mine. Okay. And then when you do this, it's a proximity mine, essentially.
Oh, awesome.
So like one of the things that the flexi foam darts can do is trigger those to detonate.
It's interesting how all the tools we've seen so far make sense on the space station. Like you were saying, there wouldn't be grenades, but there could be charges maybe for like engineering, kind of construction work.
Yeah.
The foam dart thing, like you just said, is to like employees mess with each other. I mean, obviously it has a security system too, but I guess every space station needs a few turrets.
I brought this turret in here because I've done this demo a couple times, and I know this guy is waiting to ambush me. So I turned the tides on him.
So what kind of enemy was that bipedal one?
That was the Phantom. It's like the main foot soldier of the Typhon ecology.
And so this is like an alternate universe where JFK survived.
Correct.
Right? Or maybe there wasn't even an assassination. I'm not completely sure, and then like that changed how the space race evolved. That's super interesting to me. I'm a big fan of like 11/22/63, the Stephen King book. I take it you were just using a
So yeah, I'm using this. This is a human power. It's not an alien power. It's called combat focus.
Okay.
And it's kind of like getting a big adrenaline rush or something. It enables the player to move a little faster relative to the enemies, and you consume a little less stamina when you swing your wrench.
Cool.
and at later levels you can even like do more damage and stuff.
And it gives the human power-focused players something that they can spend psi on as well. So if they want to be just mainly,
Yeah, good point.
flesh and blood, then
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a spoiler this will be, and not to just keep comparing things to Dishonored, but in Dishonored, when you come in contact with the outsider, you can elect not to take the powers, and you can just do a gadgets only run or just human only. Is there opportunity to do something like that in this?
yes.
Cool. Okay. Just sticking to just going down the engineer path, almost like hacker path, rather than becoming an alien.
Yeah, and that's part of part of the design challenge of making the levels as well, is that every solution has to include a solution for the player that doesn't take any alien powers.
Sure.
And it has to be interesting for the people that don't take alien powers and that take alien powers.
Okay.
Either way you go, it has to be something interesting and challenging.
My inventory was full, so I can pick some stuff up. So I just dropped a bunch of stuff and put a recycler charge so I could demonstrate how the flexi foam bolt can detonate it. And so all that stuff I just dropped from my inventory is now useful stuff. So these are the crafting materials that the player can use to. So then we create these crafting materials, and you can use these in the fabricator to create other things like ammo and make and stuff.
So was the stuff you dropped less valuable than what you just got?
It's stuff
out
I already
of it?
had mostly.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
So I already had a glue gun and a pistol, so it's just I don't need those. So.
Oh, okay. So you pick up multiple glue guns if you want to. I was thinking you would pick it up and you just have it in your inventory. That's cool.
Yeah, because I already have one. So.
And now those supplies can go toward upgrades as well, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. You can create weapon upgrades. You can create neuromods, and you can use there's all these different ways of upgrading your character.
Cool.
So this is the Psychoscope. It's kind of one of our key devices. You can use it to scan aliens and get their powers and use them against the aliens, basically.
Okay.
And the first time you pick it up, we like to make sure the player starts with an opportunity to get this mimic detection chipset. So this is a chipset you install in your Psychoscope. So as soon as you have your Psychoscope, you open these slots so you can start doing this. From the beginning, we have some slots for the suit. So you have suit chipsets and scope chipsets. And the one I just installed on the scope is cool because it will let players at this point have seen the whole mimic thing enough, where there's things disguised in the environment as mimics. And so this is our way of saying now you can get the jump on the mimics.
Okay, cool.
Because you can detect them before they spring a trap on you.
Oh, awesome. And it said that was Gen 1. Can you start detecting more at a time if you upgrade it or something similar?
There's another one that you can detect more advanced mimics, and then there are other aliens that kind of have hidden features or the ability to hide.
Yeah.
So will you ever pick up weapons that are mimics?
I believe that they can mimic weapons.
Yeah.
I'm probably cool. That's gonna
Anything that can
it's gonna
move,
mess with me so much.
anything dynamic in the environment, they can dynamically become that object.
Damn. It just feels like I'll be on edge in a good way the whole time, right? It's not just so I could be backtracking with new weapons and stuff and maybe be off guard and still run into a mimic out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, reach reversal is a big part of this game. It's much more open than Dishonored was a linear progression of missions, for example. This is more an open. We call it open space station. We let the player kind of free roam into, in fact, any spaces they've been to.
What do science operators function as?
So this is a friendly robot that lives in the world, and it has a purpose. It's kind of a research assistant. And my sidebar, which is the purple one on the bottom, that's what I spend my powers on, and it will actually refill that.
Okay.
If it's a helpful one.
Yeah, they can get corrupted by the
Oh, damn. So will there be any ways that the world itself changes throughout? Based on your decisions, will things become more dangerous or more conducive to one play style or something like that?
So the world does change over time without getting into too many specifics that are kind of spoiler territory. The world does evolve over the course of the game, not necessarily in response to your actions, not the world at least. There are other things that your actions will cause, other ramifications.
Okay.
But yeah, the world is kind of changing over the course of the game.
Cool. Yeah, it reminds me of, again, Dishonored, where, your more high chaos approach and more rats, more overrun, more blood flies and whatnot.
Yeah, we don't have a chaos system in the game. And the game is much less focused on stealth and much more focused on action. But there are some humans in this station, and we're totally supporting a non-lethal playthrough for humans.
Okay.
Like we expect you to kill aliens.
Yeah.
They're monsters.
Sure. Okay.
But the humans, you can use this disruptor stun gun to neutralize them, and there's some other ways you can neutralize them too.
Okay.
And there are friendly humans as well. We also support a completely lethal playthrough, so you can kill anybody that you meet. And again, there's not like a chaos system where we're sort of judging you, but like that person won't be able to give you a weapon later on, for instance. So there are consequences that are just naturally kind of coming out of your actions.
Cool.
So that's the recycler there, which is a cool device to. It's like it's kind of an emplaced version of the charge,
Right.
And it's like a little bit more efficient, I think, to use. But there is this hazard in the way, so I kind of want to get rid of it and be comfortable so it doesn't pop into my back. So what I'll do is I'll demonstrate that like I need repair 2 to deal with this.
Okay.
So I can install the repair 2 neuromod, and then I can hopefully fix it. So now I have repair 2.
If you have enough time.
If I have enough time and spare parts, and I don't have spare parts. So spare parts are something that you find in the world, but it's also I got rid of those weapons. Okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to do this then.
You can go take down that science operator and get the spare parts out of it.
So you could have
Yeah,
recycled.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, so you could have, if you had like an extra weapon you didn't need, you could have used that to get spare parts through the recycler.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not through the recycler. There's a skill you have that you can break down robots and weapons and get spare parts out of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, once.
Was it screaming? Was that just like a
I think that was like a
orchestral
music
kind of?
cue.
Yeah. Okay. So that would feel awful if it was
So
screaming.
Okay.
there are spare parts in here, but I need this dismantle ability. So that's another neuromod that I can install called dismantle. And now I can loot this extra thing. There's only one though. we have another ability called necropsy, which lets you harvest more organs out of the aliens, and then you can use all that stuff to like make neuromods and stuff.
Okay.
This is, I think maybe if I just put enough glue on it, I'll have enough time to use this thing.
Is it like an insta kill if it does hit you?
It's pretty damaging.
Pretty low,
Okay.
yeah.
And it will stun you too. And it will like disable your tech weapons too, because it's
cool.
like this, high voltage electrical charge, so it kind of disrupts your weapons and stuff.
Dang. So if there was like a mimic in there and it hit you, you might be resigned to just your wrench.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, your pistol and shotgun will still work.
Oh, okay.
Just the ammo screens will kind of go blank.
Gotcha.
Uh,
So you might not know how many shotgun shells you have left before.
There's like a mimic in the fabricator.
Oh, dang.
Got him.
Nice little sculpture there.
Yeah.
Kinetic art. Yeah, so this is the fabricator, so I can do things like make a hypo or and this purple ingredient here, that's what the aliens recycle into. It's like this exotic material. Sweet. All right, that's dangerous again, so I'm just gonna keep moving. There's a lot to do in this level.
So you're still in the Psychotronics area,
Yeah.
where like this is where alien research takes place. You're saying?
Exactly, yeah. This is actually the original satellite where alien life was encountered.
Oh.
And the whole space station was built around the satellite.
What is this?
So that's a weaver. They create the stuff that you see, the sort of golden filaments behind it. That we basically call coral.
Okay.
They create that, as well as they can turn human corpses into phantoms.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And if you scan Weavers enough times, you can learn how to do that, and then install that as a neuromod, and then you can turn corpses into phantoms that are friendly.
Oh man, you just have this. You can become like a necromancer of sorts.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you create your own little. Oh my god.
I feel like I'm just gonna gun
What
for
is
that the
going
first time I play. Only human corpses?
Yeah.
Correct.
Because like it looks like alien corpses kind of just disperse when you kill them,
Mostly, yeah.
or they leave behind that exotic material stuff.
So I've been using this kinetic blast ability, which I learned from the Phantoms. Kinetic blast is essentially like a psionic grenade. That's how I like to think about it. And by the time you get to this point in the game, and you've been dealing with like swarms of mimics and phantoms hiding around corners and stuff, you're kind of hungry for something like a grenade.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty handy.
So you could theoretically come around with what's the mod that recognizes mimics?
The mimic detection chipset.
Chipset. So you could be coming up on a room, and would you be able to see through the walls that there are mimics in there? Or do they have to be in view?
Yeah, they gotta be in view.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a good habit, like when you're entering a new space, to like kind of scan around to see if there's any mimics lurking about.
Okay.
What, you need guns? Not one of them science types going to that armory. Saw him punching the code.
So this guy's offering you a code to an armory if you set him free. But you can look at his record there and see that he's been supposedly in prison for some pretty awful things. So now it's kind of up to the player to decide if they want to mulch this guy or...
Okay.
Yeah, mulch him. Yeah, so this is like...
Whoa. What the hell are you doing?
This facility is used for creating exotic materials in order to manufacture neuromods.
Yeah.
in an indirect sort of way.
Yeah. And also it's like, used for scientists to kind of study the whole process as well with psychoscopes and stuff.
Yeah, so
analyze what's happening.
these guys are called the Volunteers. It's kind of a spin on what they actually are. They're prisoners that were taken up from the gravity well from Russia or whatever and brought up here to be test subjects.
Okay.
So I can open the door, I can release the mimic. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, release the mimic. Seems like a scumbag.
Shit! I told you not to do it! Oh, shit!
I guess we'll get some valuable research.
Yeah. Oh, now I can learn mimic. Sweet.
Oh my god. Well then. So what has just happened to him?
He's had his essence drained by the mimic and it was used to make more mimics.
Dang.
And that's how the outbreak began, basically.
Oh, so they multiply.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the plus side of that, aside from just kind of being not releasing that terrible prisoner, was that you got more research as opposed to you would have gotten like weapons ammo if you let him go.
Yeah.
Because he had the code to that room.
Right, as well as there's a machine here designed to extract the material from these mimics that have been created.
Okay.
Did you hesitate?
Did I hit the right button?
So theoretically, is there still a way to get into the room he mentioned?
Yes.
Okay,
because
awesome.
this is an Arkane game.
Yep. So there's usually never one way into a room or one solution.
Yeah, exactly. So now that now that he's dead and I won't be able to figure out, I could probably guess 10,000 times, or I could use hacking 3. So there's 2 ways in, but we don't have time for that.
I didn't realize the symmetry until now that basically you can scan those mimics and learn how to get into the room
Yeah.
from the same setup.
Yeah.
In what way? Because you have.
So now that he has scanned the mimics, he can mimic things as well, and that's another way into that same room.
Oh,
basically.
gotcha. Okay. Kind of indirect way of rewarding you for not releasing him. Not that you're judging the players in this game, but.
All the big guns. Okay, that was an etheric phantom. So as you progress through the game, the phantoms start to come in different flavors. There's the base phantom, which is the one I fought earlier, but then you start running into these like elite phantoms.
Yeah.
And they have like some kind of like element or something. Like there's a thermal one and a voltaic one.
Okay. Cool.
And that was
great.
the etheric
Voltaic?
one. That was
How do voltaic phantoms function?
We'll find out pretty
we'll
soon,
find
actually.
out pretty
Oh,
soon.
man.
I'll head there next.
So that was one thing, based on the demo and based on things, you guys are pretty tight-lipped about a lot that's going on in this game. For good reason, a lot of it is that discovery, that emergent gameplay that'll happen. But people were wondering how enemies are going to kind of evolve throughout. So, because I think we've seen mimics so many times in trailers and demos and whatnot that it's interesting to hear that you're talking, there's different varieties of these aliens, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I just mimicked that little bin and snuck through that slot
Okay.
in the window. Now I'm in here, so now I get
You get the weapons he mentioned
I get
anyway?
everything too. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, now I can dismantle stuff. Not enough space.
And then alternatively, you could have just, gotten hacking 3 later on in the game, then come all the way back here to the room? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dismantle.
And by this point in the campaign, you probably could have gotten hacking 3 anyway.
Okay.
Or you can let the guy out and then stun him unconscious and then drag him back in there and then do the process anyway.
And yeah, we mentioned before we went live that this is about 3 or 4 hours, give or take, into the game.
Roughly, although we've been seeing like, the first hour demo, a lot of people have been spending like 2 or 3 hours in the demo.
Yeah.
So, our games, especially like Dishonored in this kind of game, people can blaze through it. Not super fast, but faster than the people that want to take their time and scour and kind of soak in the atmosphere.
Sure, and just to kind of experiment with different like overlapping systems and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Or explore side content. Like there are a lot of rooms in this level that aren't vital for getting through the game, but you get a lot of rewards and things like that for hanging around.
You should feel more alert.
And all the while, you can, well, I mean, throughout the game, you can also explore like 0G outside of the space station.
Yes.
Correct.
Cool.
Died.
Let's see. One of those.
That just increase your armor or something, or repair your armor. I like this inventory system, kind of a Resident Evil 4 flavor almost.
Yeah. Okay, clear up a little bit for
Psychotronics
space.
closed off during experiments. Security protocol.
So yeah, this is another experiment
Back in the 60s and 70s, the first
involving the Weaver and the bodies like I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
communicate with
The Weaver being the one that creates aliens from the corpses?
Correct.
Okay.
Highly developed and intentional, but somehow
So there's a corpse in here already.
they have no speech of their own, no language. They don't seem to even see us. We see ourselves. Generalizing for safety or some other person.
Oh man.
Unlike
And
you.
being Voltaic, he immediately shorts out the entire containment system so he can come out and say
Oh
hello.
damn.
Let's see if I can pull this off.
And that could affect other electronic systems around him.
And your weapons and
Oh,
things like that as well.
Dang. So you have to be pretty resourceful when you're fighting these ones?
Yeah.
That's great.
Nice.
Totally worked.
You just hit it with a wrench to like launch it at him?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that usually doesn't work. I mean, it always works, but usually backfires.
Oh, there's another one. And then you're also doing that slowdown power in the
I'll
process.
zap it and explode it.
Oh,
Oh,
look
yeah,
at that.
there it goes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he's, that's not gonna be any good. He's electrical.
And so if you pulled your shotgun out right now, if you don't remember how many shells you had, you probably wouldn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
he's
that's great.
zapping it. And really hurting. And there's ways I can disable this guy. Like I can use this null wave transmitter, which is like it's a way of canceling psionic abilities. So he like loses his little aura of
Okay.
danger.
Was that the kinetic grenade right there? Or was that just
Yeah, that was
okay.
kinetic blast. So our combat model is really focused on combining things. So like you want to disable your enemies in order to maximize like your resource economy.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to, for instance, if you're fighting something really tanky, like a telepath or whatever, if you are just shooting it with a pistol, you're going to be spending a lot more bullets than if you stun it first.
Sure.
Or you like psi nullify it first.
Cool. And then the glue gun wrench one seems pretty solid against normal mimics at the beginning. Or it's one of the viable options. So are you pretty excited? Have you seen any players doing something in the demo that you didn't think of already?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the bank shot, I think that's probably one of the most popular ones at this point. Basically, we've got a room in the demo in the lobby that we didn't anticipate players would be able to get into. Like it wasn't a big deal if they did necessarily. It wasn't going to break anything, but it was a room that was locked with a key card door. And there's another, like a window you can get in if you have Mimic or something like that.
Right.
But you weren't going to be able to get Mimic in the demo, so we were like, okay, we didn't think much about it. But then some resourceful players were using glue to place a glue ball through the window and then bank shots of the rubber darts off of that glue ball and hit the button on the other side.
That's awesome.
Without even having seen the button, it was pretty remarkable.
That's great.
There's probably half of that level that we didn't explore, by the way. Like
Yeah.
I kind of fast tracked through the main part.
Psychotronics, the one we were just in?
Yeah.
Okay.
But and so we got to the point in that level where we're ready to go to the next one. But
Okay.
rather than go there, I'd like to skip ahead to crew
Okay.
quarters.
Cool. Is this a little farther into the game, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to the halfway mark, I would say.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Do you have like a range for what you expect players to beat this game in if they were
That's
like
not the one I wanted.
playing semi-completionist?
I would say a completionist. I mean, people can spend around like 40 hours or something like that, like 20 to something like that, 20 to 40.
Right.
Depends. It's a pretty solid chunk of a game.
Cool.
So this is the crew facilities. It's called crew quarters, right?
Much more residential looking than the Psychotronics.
Yeah. And the idea is like, there's this this space station, and it's like the size of the Empire State Building or something, right? So it's this huge facility, and the people who come to work there, it's like the best minds are recruited to work there.
Yeah.
And so they create this really posh residential area.
Okay.
So that it feels like a kind of place you'd want to live.
Cool.
So this poor human is mind controlled, and if I get too close to them, they are going to. They can't really help themselves. Let's just find out. Do it, dude. Yeah.
Whoa. That's not what I thought would happen. What you said? You mentioned like a telepath. Was that a telepath's doing?
Yeah. We're
Okay.
gonna kind of run this in a little while. Take that off. And just,
So seeing you triggered that?
yeah, those guys are like because they're being controlled by the telepath, and the telepath's hostile. They're hostile.
Okay.
And if their head explodes, then that person, obviously they're dead without their head. And there's ways the player can kind of prevent that from happening by, like, for instance, using this disruptor
Okay.
stun pistol that I have.
So is the telepath kind of using them as like walking minds almost?
Basically,
Would
yeah.
that have hurt you if you were closer to him?
Yes.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
How many bodies do we have,
There it
huh? Whoever you are, run. There's no more fool here except you.
Yeah, so it's basically like human
Hold of your
shields.
brain. Good.
Um,
Others here? Or not?
but you can kind of sneak up on them and take them out like one at a time. This way. Oh, I missed that one. There's a couple other tricks too. Like you can use a no-wave grenade, and I think that breaks the spell. Yep, and it kind of knocks them out.
But do it before they kill you. You are no more puppets? Maybe we talk.
Psycho Shock 1's available now?
Yes, and actually that's a really useful ability to have against the telepath. Goes off with sneak attack. Okay, before we get too into this, let's get a save.
That was a really fast quick save.
Yeah, we tried to make saving painless as possible so that players could experiment and try crazy stuff. And the quick load is right there too, so you can just jump right back. No, I don't want to hurt you. If I Psycho Shock this guy, I would say. Oh, that just blows it up.
Whoops. So once you, well, I'll let you worry about this guy before I ask any questions. So if you're getting too close to this guy, can he start taking over your mind? Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah, exactly, but I have a psychoscope on.
Oh, okay, so it's
Yeah.
like a mind shield.
Yeah, and if I try to get close to him to hit him with my wrench or something, he will just kind
Repel you.
of push me back away.
Gotcha.
And it's like mega damage, so there's a couple ways to deal with this guy. One is to null wave him, because these things, and he'll null wave me. These projectiles will null wave me and prevent me from using my powers.
Oh, that's
So I
awesome.
have to dodge them. Oh, he got me.
But your gear is, you can use that.
Yeah, but I just null waved him, so now he can't use his powers, which means he pretty much has nothing to do. And so he usually runs away when that happens.
It's like a chess match almost. Just with guns. Yeah.
Let's get shotgun. And then there's this weapon we have called the Q-beam, which it's sort of like it injects a lot of energy into things so that it excites their particles and then it explodes.
It's like Big Doug.
Yeah, a little bit like Dig Dug or something.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so that if he had full health, it obviously would have taken longer to overload
Right.
his particles and stuff. Okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
if you stop shooting it, the green bar starts to kind of drain back down.
Okay.
And so what happens sometimes is you're shooting them and then you run out of Q-beam ammo, so you can't quite finish it.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can start damaging them so that the red bar catches up with the
Oh,
green
so
bar.
they meet? That's
and
awesome.
Then they explode,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So So I always think that's really fun to do.
Is the Q-beam the only thing you can like increase their energy with, or are there other ways to do that?
Well, if an enemy explodes from the Q-beam, if there's enemies within proximity, they'll also take Q-beam splash damage.
It chains.
And so if you have like a swarm of mimics or something, and you hit one in the center, sometimes it's enough to get the other ones either to the point where they'll also explode, or like it only takes very little. You just kind of go right over them and they just pop.
Shit. Okay. Cool.
It's really fun.
So when you saved those people from the telepath and they went unconscious, what can you? I almost just said, what can you do with their corpses? And I mean that in like the most functional way in this game. Like could you have? Or they're not corpses; they're unconscious. So like, could you have helped them further or gotten anything out of that situation with the?
I think you can loot them.
Okay.
Right? You can drag them to safety.
Apart from them not being like walking mines anymore.
And I think you can turn them into phantoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're also basically counted as saved for the purposes of like the narrative and the in-game kind of stuff.
Cool.
Because we didn't want players to have to manage
like
corpses
dragging
too much.
someone through multiple levels.
Sure. Yeah.
They're totally lootable.
Ostensibly, if you wanted to make a little game for yourself, could you carry that guy Caleb to the end of the game?
You can't level transition with corpses or items and things.
It's not like a gnome from what is it, Left 4 Dead 2, Noam Chomsky or whatever.
We did have a programmer who worked on a lot of the physics, so she had some sort of a morbid fascination with ragdolls, I guess. But she would make corpse piles in every level and just drag every corpse in every level.
Purely for performance testing reasons.
I think she just has.
What does a Q stand for? Is there anything?
Quasi-particle, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just really.
We take as much inspiration from real science as we can, and then
Sure.
As long as it's fun for gameplay.
Yeah, and consistent within this world too.
Exactly.
A good sci-fi.
We have this system. It's called the roster system, and it lets you track people down.
Okay.
Everybody on the entire station is accounted for in the roster system.
And so so that's where the Emma is over there.
Yeah, Emma Beatty.
Yeah, and that's how she found all the corpses. Or
You
people.
can
yeah.
And then she killed them and then made piles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is did this just become a mini side mission to track that specific woman, or is she part of the main story?
It all depends. So what we made the roster system basically a system, so it exists independent of any specific quest. So in some cases you may read an email about, I gave something to Emma or whatever, and then you'll be like, okay, well I'll go figure out where she is by going to the roster system, and then you can find her. And you can find people across levels as well. She could have been like in the Arboretum or the
Back in Psychotronics.
somewhere else, exactly. And you'll get markers that lead you all the way to the person, and then you can find where they are.
So you can sift through emails, find a name that interests you because they have a code or they have something useful, and then see them across the station, go find them.
Correct. So it gives
That's
you
awesome.
these sort of self-directed mini quests, basically.
Cool. So I'm just showing off the research page here. The first time you scan something, you get some lore about it, and you learn some tactical information. And then as you scan, you unlock new abilities and stuff. And then when you scan them completely, you get Morgan's notes about them. And sometimes there's extra little bits in there that are interesting or helpful.
Morgan makes a little painting of every monster as he encounters them. He or she.
These are I saw Fitness Center. This is still the residential kind of living quarters.
Yes. These are the cabins for the better off crew, or the higher up crew members, basically. They get individual cabins. Then the rest of the people sleep in these sort of Japanese hotel style pods.
Okay. So you just did what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That was great.
We can actually look at the pods here in a second, because there's a pretty cool encounter in there.
So the Q-beam seems like a great way to kind of temporarily drain someone's max health in a way, in an indirect way.
It's
Cool.
exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're draining their max health. Yeah. So we have two different quests we can do right now. The cook, I was talking to the kitchen, wants me to do something, and then we are trying to gather enough voice samples of this employee Danielle Show in order to create a sequence for a password to unlock a door somewhere else.
Okay.
So your main goal is in another level entirely, but to get into that level, you have to trick a voice lock. And to do that, you have to reconfigure or reconstruct voice from these samples you find in this level.
Let's see. There's something in here called a poltergeist.
So yeah, speaking of other hidden aliens,
Something shoots like a gravity lift on you?
yeah. So the Poltergeist is all about telekinesis or telekinetic attacks. It can throw furniture and things at you.
It's a great name.
It's also completely frozen right now.
Is it trying to disappear right now?
Yeah.
Oh, but
I've got it marked. Yeah, you can use your scope to mark things, and it's actually really helpful.
so you did that manually.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Damn.
So let's see. I don't think I learned any powers from it. But Poltergeist, yeah.
So you walk into a room, you see furniture or something thrown at you. You start to say, "Oh, there's a poltergeist in here." What are some ways you could find it? Like you saw like that aura kind of that it had. Is it usually like in corners and stuff around?
It will pick up physics objects and it'll throw them at you.
Okay.
And it will kind of like juggle them in front of it, so you can kind of like see where it is because it's juggling this physics object, and it will appear briefly at times. Also, like things like the I don't have any null wave transmitters left, but the null wave transmitter I think will also expose them and stuff.
Okay.
You could just start gluing at the air.
Yeah.
And just hope to hit
Frantically
it.
firing your
Yeah.
weapon. It also perturbs the environment as it passes things, so like sinks will turn on and toilets will flush and stuff like
that's
that as
awesome.
it walks by them.
Cool.
So, just kind of exploring in here. Oh yeah, this area was breached, so this door is like closed, and you just can't get in here from this side. But you can go outside,
Right.
and you can check out this area.
So some of those crew pods are actually floating in the void, and you can go out there and
Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, could you like theoretically get into a bunch of these rooms, or some of them just permanently locked?
in general, we try not to permanently lock anything. So if you can see it, you can get to it.
Cool.
Is one of our philosophies, and it can make things a little more complicated, but I think it pays off in the end.
Okay.
It gives you a real feeling of a palpable space.
That's what the mimics do to folks.
It looked like he had a painful death. Yeah. So if you had gone into that crew quarters log, will it tell you that someone's dead before you even discover their corpse, or do you have to see them?
And you'll see life signs.
I can't control myself.
This is the hacking, right?
Correct. So again, you could have gone and found the key code to this, or you could hack it if you have the skill. Or found the actual secret alternate entrance into the space in other parts of the level.
Always a good idea. Especially during demos, yeah.
You're gonna,
I'm not sure I'd want to run into like a poltergeist in like a gym with weights everywhere. Or at all, but especially in a gym.
well. You still have in the baby tag.
No, I think I turned that objective off.
Okay, there she is.
Oh, that's her?
Yep. She's safe. She's
Yeah,
fine.
so it says locate crew member, yeah.
Okay.
Found her. Treasure map.
Trying to reach Abby, but she's not answering.
So there's a side quest involving Emma, for instance. So you could have found her name in an email. Like that was an actual example.
Cool. She had a treasure map on her?
Yes. There's a sort of like a D&D group on the station.
Oh, cool.
And their game master set up a little treasure quest for the.
I won't do it. You can't.
So you have a good vantage point on the pool and the telepath that's lurking in the depths of the gym.
Yeah, so even though we're not really expecting players to ghost this game or anything, like we didn't go deep on stealth, we still have some notions that players will want to take advantage of, being tactical, right? So like, determine for yourself the terms of your engagement with these enemies. So, it's a good idea to like do a little recon. You can use your scope and you can mark them all, and you can get them all like kind of on your HUD, so it's easier to track them.
Yeah.
And then you can totally score sneak attacks by hitting them before they're aware of you.
Yeah, it looks like I was going to say two things. You could either use the Q beam to overload one and then chain it to the others, or you could do the psi attack. Sorry, what was it? The
The Psychoshock.
Psychoshock. Will that also just hurt others in the vicinity?
Or you can kinetic blast them, or
Recycle
just,
them.
yeah.
In this case, I have a lure, so I'm going to try to see if I can maybe separate them with this lure. Bring some of them down there. Yeah, they're moving towards it. This could give me an opportunity to take out these folks without having to kill them.
Okay.
One down.
Nice. Is that all of them?
Now it's also just
the
the
telepath.
lure. Now it's on.
So you made that far less dangerous than it could have been.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's a drain swimming pool. I just noticed. He just used that kinetic blast on you.
Yeah,
It was cool while it lasted.
that was almost a good run.
You just did a quick save fairly recently, right?
Yeah. This is a totally optional area, so I can just not go there.
Maybe the yellow tulip next.
Yeah, so you're gonna be able to.
That bar and restaurant.
Yeah, sort of a lounge area for the crew members to blow off steam.
Okay. I feel like I'm never gonna get used to that. I startle really easily, and now I'm on the lookout for poltergeists and phantoms, and the mimics are just gonna creep up on me.
Scanning target typhon material inconclusive. Logging calibration request.
So this thing has some kind of psychoscope tech built into it. Regina, no! And it will, so like that's how it knows to fire on the typhon, right? But when I approached it, it said like that like its scan of me was inconclusive. And in the beginning, before you have any alien powers, it doesn't say anything like that. It's just like, yeah, you're fine, right? But as you start to install, alien powers, we have kind of this little meter on the bottom right there of like how much type of material you have in your system.
So the station just starts to turn on you because it thinks you're an alien?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that's great. So you'll start to worry about turrets more if you use. Is that how many alien upgrades you go for, or how much you use alien powers?
It's how many alien powers you install.
Okay, cool.
And so you can see like I can hack turrets, even though while they're friendly, doesn't seem like there's any reason to.
Yeah.
But if you kind of do it early, then later, like when they start turning on you, then those will still be loyal to you.
Okay. So that's what you were mentioning earlier. There are ways that the world will kind of mold itself.
The world will respond
Cool.
to you. Yeah.
Is that just a microphone?
I think it was.
Psychoshock is like an overly powerful alien power to use on the mimic, completely like wasting resources. But sometimes it's like it's right there, it's on the left trigger. All you have to do is press it, make that problem go away. You can see this area is really dark, and this thing it doesn't have power. Oh, come on!
I think it's behind you.
Just become something else already?
Yeah, it's like hide. Take this. There we go. Problem solved.
Yeah, nice.
So this area is part of one of the quest line to reconstruct the voice based on samples you find in the world. One of them is a song that this band recorded basically as part of a neuromod demonstration. They didn't know any musical, they didn't have any musical skills or aptitude, and then they installed neuromods to show that look, these people can play music.
Oh, cool. I know kung fu. It's kind of
Basically, I know
exactly, yeah.
bass guitar.
Cool.
Or keytar in this case.
All right. So there's probably a pretty cool audio log with that song.
Yeah, we'll actually see it here shortly.
Cool. And the person who's on the audio log is the one who voice activates is the key for somewhere.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
great.
Yeah, you're finding samples of her all throughout the station. This is sort of like following her life and kind of unfolding or unpacking who she was. But the sound attracts attention.
So now you got a soundtrack to your firefight?
Basically. And you're holding up your cassette recorder while you're wielding a shotgun or something.
There's no way of myself.
So you have to hold out until it fully records, gets her voice.
Yeah, you've got kind of a countdown in the upper left there.
Oh, that's awesome. Kind of a cool organic way to do a defensive situation. It's like a Tarantino scene.
Away! Run away! Get away
The song
from me!
that is super juxtaposed against what's happening.
Medkit.
Thank you. Good call.
Suit integrity.
Elite Mimic.
Yeah, so I used that lure grenade, which peeled the thermal phantom off and kind of like separated him from the fight. The fight was a little bit of a crowd control thing. And then after I shot him, now he like ran away.
You said elite mimics. What do they do differently?
Greater mimic. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's an old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, old word.
Well, they just
Yeah.
mimic like more believable things.
Well, they are like stronger. They have more health. They do more damage.
Okay.
They can grab you.
Okay.
Yeah, they will grab it. I don't know where that thermal guy went. It might be a thing. The phantoms have this behavior where they will sometimes just like disappear.
Yeah.
And like not like the mimics, but they turn into things. They just go and then they kind of hide.
Yeah.
And they're just like kind of waiting to like spring an ambush on me, and I really have no idea where this guy is. But I see that light flickering, so he could be in there because the phantoms have this kind of aura around them where they affect lights.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I'm gonna
Set up a trap.
set up a trap here and see if I can lure him out. Are you in here? Oh, God, he is. Oh, no! I got sucked in.
Good trap.
Yeah.
Was that a recycler?
Yeah, that was. I put a recycler charge down and I got sucked into it.
So you became crafting materials?
Yeah.
That was great.
We can do this fight again.
No problem with that. This one was stylish.
Just gonna mine this place up. That was perfect.
So that's insta-kill if you get caught in a recycler.
It does a huge amount of damage. So for some things it will be an instant kill, but for others it will just like massively damage them.
Or for you, I mean. Or it's still same thing, just a lot of damage.
Okay. You can also get a chipset that will make you a lot more resistant to the gravity well of the recycler.
He's calling mimics now, which are going to become like so they become fiery and they're going to come after me. Shifted away.
So wait, those mimics became more phantoms, or the mimics themselves just have like the powers he had now?
Right, he like set them on fire and then sent them at you.
Okay, cool. I like the 80s retro feel of this song.
Yeah, that sort of 80s retro synth kind of like permeates the game, basically.
Yeah, when is this set?
It's set in 2035.
Okay.
Okay, you know,
But there's sort of a retro aesthetic that kind of tints everything.
Sure.
before I hit the music, I'm going to set some traps up.
Yeah. I like how they fold up.
Do you have enough near mouse to get Fortify?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, come on. Stay still.
Error. Insufficient Typhon material.
Could you theoretically create like a barrier of like a glue wall to kind of funnel them into one specific shooting zone?
Let's try it. Oh, I just...
Get your own.
Yeah, let's see what they do.
Or like do they bust through that pretty easily?
They'll generally try to path around it. They'll try to find an alternate way, but if they're trapped behind it, they will attack it and
Okay.
break through.
So I just fortified this turret, which gives it, like, refills its health and gives it extra health.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a little bit more robust against the aliens.
Typhon
Cool.
material inconclusive.
It's one of those situations where it was almost more fun to die because then you know what's coming and you can plan
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. Yeah, let's see how they do.
You're like doing tower defense right now with that turret and the.
Our AI lead back home must be like, no. Oh, it's shooting him already through the windows. Let's see, kinetic blast would be good for this. A little health would be good. Let's get my shotgun out.
Oh, the turret shot through the blue wall.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Seems so satisfying to use.
Kids are dancing over here.
Is there a historical in-game reason for why everything's kind of an 80s tinge? Or is that just like that was just an aesthetic
Because
choice?
Kennedy survived.
I guess that's like sticking with the golden age. kinda?
Because Kennedy survived, we never grew out of the 80s.
Okay, gotcha.
You protected synthwave.
I actually don't mind hearing the song over and over again because I love it.
It is really good. Yeah, who did you have do that? Is that like some outside artist?
So this was actually our
ironically,
sound engineer, Matt Pearsall, and Raf Colantonio, our
Yeah.
creative director, kind of worked together on that
Okay.
piece.
But the sound, the rest of the music in the game is composed by Mick Gordon,
Okay.
who did the Doom soundtrack.
Oh, okay, awesome. Nice.
So he totally like changed kind of his the sound from like metal stuff to synthwave.
Damn,
but,
that's awesome.
But the guy's got some range.
Yeah, because I know like Raph did his own music in the past, right?
Yeah.
Research complete.
That's without question my favorite song of his. This is a cystoid nest. And do I have the toy gun on this build? No, I don't. But yeah, another good use of the toy darts is like you can get these things to kind of pop, and they kind of create all these little cystoids, and these cystoids will kind of follow anything that's moving, and so you can shoot the flexifoam bolts, and they'll kind of go
Chase
after that
after
and
them.
chase it,
Okay.
like a dog with a stick or something.
And one of them isolated is pretty harmless, but when you get a swarm of half a dozen or more of them at one time, it can be really dangerous,
Okay.
Yeah, we have
especially in 0G.
we track the player's radiation level, and so when that fills up, you get radiation poisoning, and there's some negative effects associated with that.
Okay. So there's like ways to decrease that too, the radiation.
Yeah, we have medical operators that will refill your health and kind of restore that stuff.
Okay.
But there's also some pills. I think I picked some up earlier. Oh no, that was in Psychotronics. Oh, here they are, anti-rads.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just use these and it reduces your radiation level down.
Cool. So Rich, as like level designer, do you have a favorite area in the game that's near and dear to your heart?
I'm trying to think. I really like this level because it allows us to have this kind of range of storytelling, like looking at the human aspect, and it's much slower paced than a lot of the rest of the game. Basically, you're kind of like creeping around and snooping in people's quarters and stuff like that. I like the exterior a lot and the guts level because it's 0G and it sort of showcases that sort of unique aspect really well. I like those a lot.
So Seth, what about you? Are there any areas that you think you could do cooler stuff in than others?
You can return to areas with stuff that you get later.
Sure.
And there's more stuff available, I think I've probably spent the most time in hardware labs because it's pretty early, and two, because it just has so many systems, setups with crazy things in them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a playground sandbox for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as like a systems designer, there's few kinds of games that would be, I feel like, more fun, but also complicated to work on. There's like an immersive sim.
It's a little overwhelming, but it's also super fun. And it's just this is why I got into game development, was to work on stuff like this. This is a dream.
That's what I'm like. Ever since Dishonored, the first one in 2012, it kind of reignited this love for immersive sims. Like the BioShock games had some elements of those, and there's like Far Cry 2, State of Decay, but Dishonored seemed to be the one that not only established Arkane, but also bring back this kind of game in a big way. Now you have Zelda doing emergent gameplay. You have Metal Gear Solid 5 did it. And it seems like the people making them now are the people that grew up playing like Thief and System Shock and Origin Looking Glass stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Because the audience for those back in the day, the 90s, before Looking Glass and Origin both shuttered, was kind of, and then Deus Ex at Ion Storm, Austin, but the audience for those, they were like kind of cult classics because I feel like, A, it was just a smaller like niche kind of, PC crowd that might not have been
back then, gaming was a hobby. I mean, it was like a hobby, right? Like now it's mainstream.
Yeah.
It's like so many people game now, and something that has been a mission for us is to make this kind of game mainstream.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
bring this to a larger audience without dumbing it down,
Well,
and
I
reducing
think-
the complexity and richness of it.
I think games like DayZ and Minecraft really brought that sort of systems-driven kind of thing to the masses in a bigger way, and then bringing that background to the first-person shooters and RPGs and things like that became kind of a natural consequence of that.
Sure. So the coolest part is finding your own stories to tell rather than this linear kind of constructed narrative on the developer's part. Not that that's not here as well, but it's almost kind of like Dungeons and Dragons shared authorship, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. I think that's when games work best is when they are that kind of cooperative sort of storytelling.
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
And obviously Harvey, who did some supervision on this game and whatnot, and like creative input after he was done with Dishonored 2 or throughout. And I know obviously he worked on Deus Ex and QA on System Shock 1 or 2, I believe.
2, I believe.
And then Raf Colantonio spent a lot of time at Origin. And then before doing Arkane in 2000, I think, before Arx Fatalis came out.
Yeah, he did Arx Fatalis and Dark Messiah,
Yeah.
which is also a very systems-driven game.
Sure.
Oh boy, oh my god. Okay.
Wait a minute. What is this thing?
This is the Nightmare. Did you install Alien Powers?
Yeah, I've been installing Alien Powers.
So another consequence for juicing up on Alien Powers is this thing will eventually come and hunt you.
Good God.
Oh god, and now the turret's
Now the turret's here.
So you cross that threshold
I'm
and
running
the
away.
station is not trusting you anymore?
And now
Right.
everything
Oh,
is
man.
hostile.
It's crawling
this
through the
is-
door. It's about to.
Okay, this is about to get really ugly.
So the Nightmare tracks you more the more you use the power?
The more you make yourself alien, basically,
Okay.
once you hit, there are certain thresholds, basically.
Yeah.
When you pass those, and you're kind of awakening this thing, right? You're getting its attention.
Are there more than one Nightmares, or is that the same one that's is like a persistent threat?
It's kind of a persistent threat. You can
Okay.
get rid of it for a time, but it'll always come back. What to use? Yeah,
It's like a ring wraith. When you put on the ring, it's just
exactly.
everywhere.
No, run away. We like to think of it kind of like it's like the T-Rex or something from Jurassic Park. It's just
Yeah.
it's all threat.
That's right. Just get right up in its face. It respects that.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Put your arms above your head. Look larger than you are. That'll scare it.
Like a black bear.
It just feared me, so it's really hard to aim when you get feared by the Nightmare.
So how long would you be if you weren't electing to fight him right now? How long would you be running from him if he was chasing you? Oh, there's a countdown timer.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can just like go hide. But
Right.
like you kill these things, it's a huge reward. Oh my god. I got him.
Okay. So he dropped a lot of valuable stuff. I'm
Yeah,
assuming?
he.
Okay.
There's just tons of materials in this guy.
Okay.
Alien materials that you can use
30
to
something.
like create neuromods and stuff. So there's a recycler up here.
You eventually get a fabrication plan for neuromods, so you can make your own.
Okay. And on the flip side, though, you used a lot of ammo you might not have otherwise.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, we definitely want to have a scarcity of ammo and things like that
Sure.
in this game, so there's much more tension.
Yeah, it's got like all these blocks. That's like 2 neuromods worth of blocks.
Okay.
So it's pretty worthwhile.
Did you just pick up a notepad or something that had that key code?
Yes.
Now I can hear a poltergeist around here somewhere.
That's right, because you didn't finish the one in there because
Yeah.
the nightmare showed up.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. I was gonna
Is
show
it the
off.
same one? The same poltergeist?
There was another one that was in here. Yes,
Oh,
the same
okay.
one, because he didn't get a chance to kill him.
Yeah, I was gonna show off this this fun trick with the poltergeist because I learned this ability called remote manipulation from scanning the poltergeist, and that's what it uses to pick up things and throw them at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was gonna try to show off, but then the nightmare kind of ruined my plans.
So how excited are you guys for Friday or even tomorrow when you start to see the crazy ways people are playing with these systems?
Tremendously. We generally gather around at the office and watch streamers or whatever and just see what kinds of things people come up with. That was interesting.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. There it is.
Yeah, it's always novel and exciting to see when people get their hands on these things.
Yeah, I mean, because as exciting as it is, like after Dishonored 2, to watch all the like insane like speed runs and chaining people are doing with those, and I think I recall Harvey saying the team hadn't necessarily thought about creating to avoid falling damage. They would put a decoy down there and then jump on their own decoy. But as much as like that's fun for me to watch, I can't imagine how thrilling that is for you guys to see how people are playing with these tools that you made.
Yeah, it's great. And having played and been so close to the game for this long, like seeing it out in the wild in other people's hands is very refreshing because I can't taste it anymore. Basically, it's like
I mean, you just released an hour or a supposedly hour-long demo, and people already did something that you're like, oh, we didn't really account for that too much.
With the bank shot thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's
I mean, the systems account for it, but when you release the demo, you're like, oh man, we didn't even think of that.
Yeah, we kind of account for not accounting for it, basically.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Well said.
Oh, meet again with this guy, huh?
Shortcut.
That's a more efficient way.
They're okay.
Oh, so that kinetic, that just...
Yeah, I'm side nullify now, so I'm gonna have trouble using my powers. I can probably just nullify.
Yeah, I guess it
my
didn't do
attack.
enough damage to actually kill the people.
Oh yeah, nullify.
Does that just explode? Oh man.
That's about the hour mark. Are we running out of time, or can
We
keep going?
can keep going as long as you want to. I don't know how much more you want to show and before you get toward things you're either not planning on showing or just spoilers or whatnot, but yeah, keep playing.
Can we go to the Arboretum and maybe exterior?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah, let's show off some 0G stuff.
Okay. Have you shown that off yet?
A little bit here and
Yeah,
there.
just a tiny bit.
Okay. This door leads right to 0G stuff, or you're just on your way there?
Yeah,
oh, the
it's,
Arboretum.
It passes to the Arboretum,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
the sort of green space. It's like a big
Sure.
ostentatious, like, look, we've got trees in space.
Okay.
Look how much money and
Yeah.
power we have, basically.
Do they serve like a function in terms of providing oxygen at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Part of the oxygen recycling stuff uses the trees as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of a dual purpose thing.
Cool. Aesthetically, this game, despite like being on a space station, seems really diverse. Or being on this one space station, it seems really diverse. And, like knowing there's 0G too is pretty enticing.
Yeah, their team's done a really great job. I mean, there are also like these layers. So you've got like the Cold War era, origins of the station, and then you've got the sort of neo-deco stuff that's kind of layered on top of that as the
Right.
corporation came in and took over this old research facility.
Oh, so close.
I like this combo a lot. The Q beam and then just draining the rest of the health and it's still there.
Oh, broke that. That was awesome.
Wait, what happened?
There's like these
Shattered the glass.
tiles.
up
I
there.
didn't even know that was breakable glass up there. I had no idea.
It's like a
Health.
This is
full
where,
park.
This is where being careful is important.
And if you stop and listen, little chirping bird sounds piped in and things like that.
Oh, cool. Is there wildlife at all? Or is that just like,
No.
okay.
How many neuromods do I have? None. Well, there's that idea. Okay, I'll run. I was gonna like use Mimic to stealth by that guy, but this area is just so hostile now. I'm going.
Did something you do make that area more hostile?
I think it's just like
Or you
later
just-
on in the campaign.
You just had
it's-
yet to go? Yeah, okay.
Okay, if it comes out, it's gonna get a face full of recycler grenade. All right. The Phantoms will totally use those graph shafts, so
Okay,
like you can account for it.
cool.
I'm pretty sure if you throw an EP grenade at the grab shaft, they turn off.
They shut off and things
Yeah.
fall down them.
Yeah, so if there's a long one and you trick a Phantom into following you through it,
Oh,
you
okay.
turn it and you EMP it. Like you give an EMP charge like inside of it, and then it goes in and it triggers the AP charge, it turns off the grab shaft, and it would fall.
Oh, so you could go up and then fall?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Or you
either-
can just prevent it from following you.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I think a psychovoltaic phantom will do that to you too if you're trying to escape in a grab shaft. Like that, its stuff shorts out the grab shaft and you just fall back down.
Ah, damn. Okay, we got some zero-G stuff.
Yeah. So we really wanted our like zero-G stuff to fulfill the fantasy of what it would be like to fly around in space. So we put the work in to make sure that the player could roll.
Okay, cool.
Because we've noticed that most games that have any kind of, you're outside of, you're in space or whatever, there's still like a constant up and down. And so by letting the player roll, it totally changes the way you experience a space, because without that fixed frame, you can get disoriented really quickly.
Okay.
But that's part of the fun and part of the fantasy.
Shuttle over there?
It is. Yeah, so part of the challenge of designing the levels for this, we're making sure that they all kind of fit inside the shell of the station, and that you can go out and in and out and in and stuff like that.
Oh, you can go to that shuttle.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can.
gonna head there now.
So it's not even all on the space station.
Correct.
The game.
Yeah, there are bits and
Space
pieces
station's
kind
just
of
huge.
orbiting the station.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about or agreed to showing this, but
That's not foreboding at all.
But I know people are curious about zero-G combat, so the game's coming out so soon. I thought, let's just do a little tease. So I think there's something out here. There's coral, right? So that would lead one to believe there might be a weaver.
It might not be here at this point in the campaign.
Yeah, maybe it's not here. Yeah, it's not here. Okay, maybe someone already killed it. Whoever made the save that we used might have already killed
Oh,
it.
that's right.
Could you go inside that shuttle if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's some stuff in there.
And like off to the left and right, you've got like hardware labs and psychotronics in the Neuromod division. You can actually see the levels as they protrude from the
Cool.
sort of shell there.
Will they only show up on your UI at this point if you've been there?
They don't really show up on the UI. They're all labeled on the exterior, like you see
gotcha.
hardware labs. And then the airlocks are labeled with little point of interest markers.
Okay.
And if you unlock the airlock from the inside, then you can go in from the outside. So they're sort of like one-way fast travel, kind of, well, not fast travel, but
Sure.
shortcuts, basically.
Ow.
Integrity damaged.
So if you fly too fast into things, you will damage your suit.
I'm gonna go to the screen now. Hey, mic's not working.
Oh.
Okay, now it's working.
This whole time, nobody can hear you.
Okay, gentlemen, check it now. It should be good. Everything should be good.
So will you find there are a lot of like Typhons that will be out in zero G, or are they all okay?
There are some, like the big floating ones and cystoids and things like that can navigate in space.
This is my favorite things to do in space. I can't get enough of that.
I like how silent that is.
Yeah, we tried to adhere to the whole there's no sound in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fantasy is really important.
Yeah, so there's the airlock back into hardware labs, for instance.
So are one of these hull breaches on the outside of the station theoretically that one you saw earlier?
Yes, that's the one that you see in the
Oh,
opening.
this is it. Okay. So now you're on the other side of that door.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. This is one you see in the opening like hour of the game.
Okay.
And then the other one is like up, if there is an up.
The Psychotronics breach, was it?
There was one in crew quarters.
Okay.
okay.
Psychotronics also has one as well.
Great.
A lot of the levels have like parts of them that are exposed to vacuum that you can go out and then do something and come back in.
That's presumably like where aliens tried escaping of some sort, or do the hull breaches have some narrative?
A lot of them have narrative underpinnings. Something bad happened. That some gas main was ruptured or some aliens did something.
Okay.
And a lot of it's just kind of an excuse to play with the exterior-interior relationship.
Yeah.
And we've also got a full, dynamic sun cycle, so things will be bright or dark depending on where the sun is at.
So here's an airlock into the power plant, but it's locked. So the airlocks all start locked and you have to unlock them from the inside. So you have to, once you're in power plant, you can unlock the airlock, and then you can use it to come back and go back and forth between other levels.
So yep, there is.
The
Oh, there we go.
Scan complete. New psionic aptitude.
Put the drop on it. You notice once in a while I'm getting critical hits, and we do have like some amount of RPG stuff to like how we do damage. So there are critical hits, and you can like level up your firearms to increase your crit rate and stuff.
Okay.
Peacefully drifting.
There's this.
That was the death animation for when you're floating?
Yeah, you just kind of float away.
Dang.
That might be a good place to end it right there.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Man, I'm excited for that now. I feel like obviously we probably haven't really breached the surface too much of what everything you can do.
We were just scratching at the surface, I think. I'm really excited for people to get this game, get their hands on this, and really start digging into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw with the opening hour demo how many people really, they really challenged our concept of opening hour.
Yeah.
I saw some people who like had said they'd spent like 15 hours on it. Some people just played it 2 or 3 times or whatever. Some people just even like they spent 3 or 4 hours just playing it once. So the length of this game is going to have a lot to do with your relationship to content. Like how much do you want to delve into everything? How much do you want to explore everything and read everything? And so those players are going to have a lot to dig their teeth into.
Yeah, a lot of rewarding experimentation and everything and exploring.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff we touched on here wasn't even like plot or story related. The main quest wasn't even really a thing. We were just kind of playing around and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're checking Emma Beatty just because you saw her name in an email, and then this whole like Dungeons and Dragons quest starts coming up. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very player driven questing.
So. Yeah. So Friday, well, I mean, like tomorrow starts in Australia. People can start playing this game Thursday time here, but for all intents and purposes, Friday, May 5th, PS4, Xbox One, PC, Prey from Arkane Studios will be out. Seth Shain, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Rich Wilson, thank you.
Thanks.
This has been awesome. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait for this. But for everybody joining on YouTube or Twitch or GameSpot, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have more Prey. We'll have a review in progress up as soon as possible once we get our hands on the game. Tomorrow in the UK, we'll be reviewing it. We'll have a full review up, hopefully sometime next week. We'll have, I'm sure, features coming out and maybe like a live stream or two. So stay tuned to GameSpot for more. We'll see you next time.